to talk about you, brought to you by the USA Fibroid Centers, where we're dedicated to not only offering you information about fibroids, but also about fibroid treatments like the UFE. So join us each month for our open conversations, our honest conversations about fibroids, where we're going to help you through your healing journey. See you soon. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Hello, Natalie. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic and so glad that you are here. Please share the link. Hold up. Let me see what they say. Please share the link with all the ladies you know. Yes, share the link. Share the link. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to introduce you first. I want to first thank you for coming onto our platform. We are so happy that you are part of our family, our community, that you are, and I'll tell them more. I don't want to give the cat out of the bag, but let me just introduce you first. You guys, we met this beauty pageant queen last year, Miss Natalie Dawson, who was the former contestant of the Miss Heritage Global USA 2022, and she currently serves as the national director. Natalie holds her degree in hospitality and has spent 14 years, you all, as a beauty professional. She is a beauty queen and a beauty pro as a makeup artist. Additionally, she is renowned red carpet and TV host, right there based in New York City. And Natalie will be sharing with us tonight not just her beauty tips and fashion trends and all of her predictions on this red carpet, but she is also a fibroid survivor, and she is a UFE. She has just had her UFE, and we are so excited to have you with us tonight. Thank you so much, Natalie, for joining.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited. It is such an honor to be literally sitting here. Like, this is just a full circle moment. So thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. We met and we connected and we talked. I know, you guys, let me tell you, once you connect with me, I'm like in your life. So just be ready for that. But I checked on her throughout the year prior to her UFE, and you were very apprehensive about having the UFE. You were very apprehensive to talk publicly, and I know this has taken a lot of courage for you to talk about your journey with fibroid, with having the fibroids. So let's talk a little bit about your journey with fibroids and how you, in fact, discovered that you had fibroids.
Yes. Okay. So let's jump right into it. It was 2014. 2014. I had really bad symptoms, you guys. I mean, I was fainting, okay? The bleeding was massive. I was bleeding a lot. My periods were really heavy. And when I say bleeding, I just want to be clear that I wasn't bleeding outside of my period. I was bleeding just during my period, but just heavy bleeding. I was wearing like 8 to 12 pads a day.
Wow.
Like, yeah. And the clots, I was clotting a lot, and I just knew something was off. So I went to the doctor. I went to my GYN, and I always went to the GYN. Okay, that's the thing. I always had my annual checkups, and they never really saw anything. My pap smears would be abnormal, but they wouldn't tell me what's happening. Like, why is it abnormal? So one day I put my foot down and I said, something is wrong. I'd like to know what's going on. So then my GYN said, okay, well, let's do a more in-depth, ultrasound to see what's going on in there. And then I was diagnosed with my first fibroid. It was just one at the time. This was 10 years ago, just one fibroid. So then she literally told me right away that I did not have to worry about it, and that it was nothing, and that if it doesn't bother me, and I said, well, I think that's what's causing my heavy bleeding. And then immediately she had all kinds of alternatives, but nothing was like how it fast forward to 10 years now. But yeah, it was really bad.
So I heard you say you had heavy bleeding. Did you have any other symptoms at all other than the heavy bleeding?
Yeah, I was anemic. Well, that's something that's always been in my family, like just, being anemic. So I've always been anemic. I've always felt lightheaded. energy was decreasing. Running around was harder. Just focusing, being able to even, I was sleeping a lot, taking a lot of naps.
Me too.
You too?
I was.
So bad. It's just, and then you think these things are normal, and you start saying to yourself, oh, I'm just tired. Oh, I'm getting older. No, something else is really taking your energy. So you got to get it checked out. But yeah, that was me, taking naps a lot, could barely function, fainting. The fainting is what really did it.
That's serious. Yeah, I had a fainting spell too. I didn't know. I think I don't know how you felt when you were diagnosed with the fibroids. I know for me, I was like, what is a fibroid and what's happening? Did you feel the same way when they said you had fibroids, or did you know exactly what they were? Because when I was first diagnosed, we didn't have the accessibility to Google, like Dr. Google, that we have now. So what were your thoughts when you first were diagnosed with fibroids?
I knew exactly what it was because my mom had it, my aunt had it, and I think my grandmother had it. So I knew exactly what it was. But let me just add, the problem is in our community, okay, it's told that it's, I was raised that it was nothing. My mom was like, oh yeah, you probably have fibroids, that's nothing, it'll go away. It was never taken severely in my family. Like no one ever said, oh, okay, you have to go to the doctor and get something done. It was just like, oh yeah, you have fibroids. Like it's nothing. So I thought it was nothing. They told me I had fibroids and I was like, okay. I even went home and I said, Mom, they said I have fibroids. And she was like, oh yeah, everyone gets those. That's normal.
Yeah. I was like thinking about when I was reading your bio, you were on your feet a lot. I mean, you're a red carpet correspondent, you're a beauty pageant contestant, you're constantly on your feet, you're a beauty pro as well. You're working as a makeup artist. Like, how did you manage the fibroids with, those kinds of commitments?
Honestly, I look back now and I have no idea. I don't know. I think the only times that I felt challenged were on my period. If I was on my period, then I'd have to take that whole week off. But other than that, by the grace of God, I was moving and shaking. I was doing it. I have no idea. And that's the thing. Sometimes you may not have any symptoms. You may feel perfectly fine, or the symptoms might not be as severe as it is for other people, but it doesn't mean that it's not in there growing. I had one, and ask me how many I had this year when I had my UFE.
How many? So you were first diagnosed with one fibroid. Your mom said it's going to be okay. You're going to be fine. They may go away. Your doctor said we're going to leave them alone unless they bother you. So now here we are. Fast forward 5 years later. Is it 5 years? 10 years. I'm sorry, 10 years later. And how many did you end up with?
8.
Wow. And then what were the sizes of your fibroids? I'm just curious.
Yeah. So from 2014, it was that one, and it was like, she said it's so tiny. It's like 0.5 centimeters. It's like so tiny. And then every year I would get my pap smear, and every year they would just, she would tell me, oh, you have 2. Oh, you have 3 now. Okay, now there's 4. When it got to 5, I panicked. I was like, this isn't getting better. Like, what's happening? And at 5, I started doing my research. I was like, I have to get fixed. Something has to be done by now. I changed a gynecologist, and I was like, I need to figure out what's my next move, because this is affecting me. And now I feel even heavier, and my stomach is protruding now. Now I'm starting to see the physical and experiencing the physical, challenges that comes with having fibroids.
Yeah.
So
I know you said some days or some period moments or some months you actually could not work for the whole week. Tell us some more of those more serious challenges, not working, being debilitating. Tell us any other really because I want women to understand how women every day are suffering in silence. they're suffering with these really unusual symptoms that women should not have each day. And we can sometimes normalize, you know, that narrative. Like we can just in our mind say, this is what it's going to be. You know, I know that on the 28th of the month that I'm going to have this heavy period. So let me get prepped. You know, let me get all my snacks. I know I would thing that you used to do.
So I used to, the heating pads, okay, nonstop. I had to have that. I would have to have all the ice cream, all the junk, but also, I don't know about you, but you ever like have the snacks and then you throw it up because you just make yourself sick? Like
Yeah.
you make yourself sick. Like I used to literally have the snacks and the next thing you know, I can't even take it anymore. I'm throwing it up. And so all of those things are, it's mentally draining because you know it's coming. Oh, and also I was a very heavy Tylenol pill, extra strength. I had to have that extra strength Tylenol or else.
Yeah, and I actually have a really this is a transparent moment. You know, my sister on here, Coach Ella, you know, we talk about this all the time, but
Yes, I met her.
I was addicted to pain pills. You know, that's where my addiction to pain pills came in.
Every 3 hours. Every
Yeah.
2 to 3 hours. It's exhausting. And let's talk about how if you don't have them at hand, how you get fidgety because you can't function without it. Because when you have your period and you have a cramp coming and that fibroid's in there, that fibroid moves around. My fibroid wouldn't move all month long. They wouldn't move. They don't budge. As soon as I get my period, everybody in there, all 8 of them, they want to have a party. They want to move and run and do everything. And I'm like, you can't, like, it's insane. And you can feel them passing through and, oh my God, it's so painful.
You know, I'm a church. Tell us how long your periods used to be at your longest point of a long, heavy period.
The longest period I've ever had was about 11 days.
Yeah, that's serious. That, and we shouldn't be bleeding. So I want to just I'm throwing out these questions because I want people to understand that it is not normal to have a period that long. Wow.
10 years because I refused to take off from work. I'd rather just bleed. I was like, you know what? I'd rather just die. I'm not taking off.
Wow.
And it's sad. Yeah.
It's like having childbirth every month. I would have to agree with her between the pain and the just being debilitated with to the point where you can't move and just being so tender. I know that area of my stomach and, you know, my uterus all down in my private parts just all felt very tender. It was very difficult for me to have sex. I mean, I just, you know, got married when I was had at my highest number of fibroids, and so we weren't having sex regularly. You know, it was very painful for me to do much of anything. You know, it was just like it just hurtful. And so yeah, these stories, you all, we could definitely go on and on and on. Did any of your family members share with you like we're talking?
You have 7. Oh, we see 8. I still couldn't tell her because she's unapproachable. She's not someone that I can confide in. So I had no one to confide in. And then I found you guys. And I'm telling you, if I don't know where I would be. So yeah.
But you know, that generation, they just weren't they weren't raised to have these open conversations. And you know, rightfully so, you know, because you know, it wasn't really, you know, acceptable to talk about, you know, anything besides having a baby. We couldn't talk about any of the things. We couldn't talk about abortion openly. We couldn't talk about, you know, sexually transmitted diseases. Anything dealing with the reproductive health of a woman was just taboo, you know, and it was really difficult to do. I'm so thankful that we have moved into a space in time where we can have these open conversations. You know, you would be ostracized if you had a conversation about fibroids. So we don't want to, you know, definitely, if you're watching and you're a mom, you know, grandmother probably, we don't want you to feel bad because we definitely get it. But you know, now we are in a space where we can have these conversations. I want to talk a little bit about our surgery that we offer here at the USA Fibroid Centers, because you were one of the recipients of that surgery. For those who don't know, and sometimes your doctors will not give you this surgery option, and that is called UFE. Okay, Coach Ella had hysterectomy. UFE is the Uterine Fibroid Embolization procedure, which is a non-surgical procedure that we do in an inpatient clinic. I want you to talk a little bit to us about your UFE experience here at the USA Fibroid Center. Tell us about your experience with USA Fibroid Centers and your UFE.
I'm smiling because it's not when I think about it, it's a happy story. So it's something that it's a joyous, it brings so much warmth to my heart. That's why I'm smiling about it. I need to find a solution. So I was obviously, like, I was searching fibroids and stuff. And then I found USA Fibroids, and just slowly following, I found you, and I was jumping on your lives. I was watching slowly in the back, very shy, because this is a taboo conversation. So I wasn't loud, like, oh, asking questions. I was not brave enough. I wasn't. But I was like, let me just watch. Let me watch. I'm watching you. I'm watching. I'm seeing, like, you know, and then it kind of went away a little bit. And I was like, well, the algorithm kind of like pushed you guys away. So I didn't see you guys anymore. And then I just went about my business. And then one day, out of nowhere, the ad came up for the annual event that you guys have. And then when I saw the doctors, Dr. Yan and Dr. White, and I saw the doctors talking. Now, mind you, I have seen them before, and I saw them in all the ads, but I was just in the back watching. And then I thought, they don't even take my insurance, so I'm not even gonna like try. But then I saw the event, and I was like, you know what? They're all gonna be at that event. Maybe I should go to this event and see them in person, because I kid you not, no amount of advertisement, no amount of lives that I saw was gonna convince me that I can get rid of my 8 fibroids and I was gonna be okay. I had to be there. I had to have somebody like convince me, and I had to be there. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to this event. I called up a girl that I started talking to, and I said to her, because she confided in me that she has fibroids. And I said, you know what? There's this event. Let's go together. Went to the event, was completely blown away by the presentation, by all of the stories. I mean, this was a room full of women who went through it. Women who had myomectomy, hysterectomy. I mean, people were just sharing their deepest, most vulnerable moments in that room on a microphone. And I was like, what? And then listening to the procedure itself, Coach Ella was there. I met her, and listening to the procedure of UFE and how it's done. Now, just a disclaimer, I already knew about UFE because I had done so many research, like so much research on like what to do. UFE came up, and there's another clinic, I will keep it nameless, that literally, and this is important. This is important. The reason why I'm mentioning this is it's important. So this other clinic, basically said, yes, we do UFEs. You guys, I went through the entire process with this clinic, okay? I literally, and this is 3 years prior to last year. Yes, this is 3 years prior to last year. So before I met you, before I went to that event, 3 years prior to that, I had found a clinic that does UFE, and they were just like very, very open and very, you know, trying to grab me and, you know, you can come here. Letting them know that I have fibroids. I need them removed. I need them gone. And I don't want to get a myomectomy. And they were telling me that that's your only bet. I was calling every day. I never gave up. I kept praying and praying and crying because this clinic dropped me and said, we cannot do your procedure. Finally.
So they dropped you because they didn't know, they no longer accepted your insurance?
That's it.
Wow.
And this clinic decided that they were growing and they were getting bigger and they were making a name for themselves, and that they were just going to change. They're not going to accept the girls, the health first girls. So I was just left in the dust. They dropped me like this. Oh, sorry. We'll give you all your medical records. We'll give you all your, you know, all the screening, whatever you need to find your way, find another doctor. The journey begins. So now I'm fighting, looking for another doctor. I spent the past year, my boyfriend at the time went to every clinic in New York City. I'm calling every place trying to find it. I found another place right after that. And I didn't like them because I didn't like their energy. I didn't like their approach. And I just didn't feel welcome. I had decided that I was going to go with the UFE, even though my gynecologist told me I needed a myomectomy. The myomectomy was pushed. A hysterectomy was pushed. And I have no children yet, but they were pushing that and I was going the other way. They were saying myomectomy, hysterectomy, and I was saying UFE. I knew that UFE was the answer. I couldn't find someone. It was like looking for a donor match. It's like I couldn't find my match. I couldn't find my community. I couldn't find my doctor. Like, I know in my heart that there's a clinic that accepts UFE, that does UFE, that accepts my insurance. I know it does. I know it. And then fast forward, not giving up. This is why it's important to not give up. When I saw that ad for the event, it's now 2023. It's now July 2023. I now have 8 fibroids. I done went to 500 clinics, 3 years of research, a year of on the phone calling, Googling, driving my boyfriend at the time crazy, all of that, and I'm tired. My biggest fibroid was 7.8 centimeters, and I have a small frame and it was heavy, and I had 8 of them, and I had the big one was like a grapefruit, I think, like a little bit smaller than a grapefruit, and then I had an orange, and then I had like 5 grapes and 3 kiwis and all the fruits. It was just, they were just all there. I'm like, that's my uterus. There's balls everywhere. It's very scary, and but honestly, I am so grateful that I went to that event last year, and the women in the audience and then you guys at the panel, but the immediate, let's sign you up, and you guys grabbed my hand. When I got out of my procedure and you reached out to me, I was like, Kym Lee just texted me. She knows, because I didn't tell you that I went, like, you know everything. Like, who told her? Who told her that I went through this? Because I, fast forward July, the whole winter went in. It took me a few months to mentally prepare, even though I was so ready for this, but also insurance, having to switch a little bit and do a little bit. I was just like, oh my God, like, thank you, God. Thank you. This is answered prayers. And I'm just so happy with you guys. I love you guys so much.
Yeah, and we love you too. And we're so glad that you found a place where you could actually feel comfortable with your UFE procedure. For those that don't know about the procedure, it is called Uterine Fibroid Embolization. And as you can see, you can show your scar.
Mine is right. It kind of went away a little bit.
They actually suffocate the vein. And I'm only giving it to you in layman's terms because I'm not a doctor. But they actually take and they suffocate the vein. They cut off the blood source to the fibroid, and the fibroids pass naturally, which is why she said she went through the process of of several months of just not feeling like herself just, as quickly. We do have some cases where women feel more like themselves quicker. But in your case, it took you a couple of months, but nonetheless, you are fibroid free, girl. You are fibroid free.
It feels weird because
yes,
I had it for so long.
With no cuts, with no inpatient surgery, no long recovery time, meaning where you would have to, not be able to go to work for 6 weeks and all those kinds of things. And so that is why this surgery is such a huge, monumental procedure, because it is very different from myomectomy and hysterectomy, where you are made to go into a facility, into a hospital.
Ladies, if you're watching, please don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You have to take care and fight for yourself. You got this.
Fight for you guys. Thank you,
for
Natalie. I
You're
will see you
welcome.
on Thursday.
I love you, Kym.
I love
Thank you so much.
too.
Learn more at usafibroidcenters.com or call 855-615-2555.